Okay, so today what we're going to look at is compound interest. Compound interest is how we get interest on our interest. So previously we've done simple interest where we've used the formula I equals PRT. If I have a question where I want to invest $1,000 at an interest rate of 10% and I want to invest that for time is equal to 3 years. We simply go interest equals 1,000 times 10 times 10%, so 10 over 100. So that's going to give us $300. Okay, so that's our simple interest rate, but that's paid as a one-off. If I calculated the interest each year and then compounded that, so if I started off after the first year, my interest after the first year is 1,000 times 10% times the first 1 year. That's our first year. That will give me $100. So in the second year, I have my principal plus the 100. So this is where the compounding comes in. So I have $1,100. And now I'm multiplying that by 10%. So at the end of my second year, I get an interest check of $110. So now I'm starting my third year where I say, all right, I now have $1,210 and I get 10% of that. So at the end of my third year, I now get an interest of $121. So my interest over all 3 years calculates out at these three numbers. So at the end of the 3 years, here, in just normal simple interest rate, I would get back $1,300. So my 1,000 from the principal and the 300 interest. Here, I'm going to get at the end, the amount at the end is going to be $1,331. It's not a lot, but you can see here, just by compounding interest, we get a whole lot more. Now, here's a whole lot of working out how to do that. But I've actually got a formula where the amount at the end of the time is equal to our principal times 1, so that's the original amount, plus the interest rate, again, that's going to be in percentages, times the number of time periods that we're looking at, or time that we had before. So if we use this formula, we start with using the same example, $1,000 times 1 plus our interest rate, which is 10%, and our interest rate is 3. Now we do this on our calculator using brackets, so it's going to be 1,000, open brackets, 1 plus, I'll set another set of brackets here to do my percentage, close both sets of brackets here. Now I'm going to do to the power. On this calculator, we use this button here, lets me put to the power of 3. Different calculators will do it differently. When we go equals 1, 3, 3, 1. So that's an easy way to calculate the compound interest, rather than doing every year. So imagine if you did 30 years, you'd have to do this 30 times. If we use this formula, we just have to do it once. So that's compound interest. We can also look at depreciation. So sometimes when we borrow money, the amount of money we've got goes up. The other time, it's called depreciation. So if you have the value of a car, it depreciates, so it's worth less. So imagine I have a $10,000 car and it depreciates at a rate of 20% per year. And I own that car for 3 years. Well, our number of time periods is 3 years. So to calculate how much money that is worth, we use the formula A equals the principal. Actually, sorry, it's D because it's depreciation, equals the principal 1, which is our original principal amount, minus our interest rate, so 20%, so our rate and the number of times. V equals P outside 1 minus R to the power of N. So in this example, V is equal to 10,000, 1 minus our interest rate, which is 20%, to the power of the number of years, because our rate is in years and the number is in years. Remember what we did in simple interest? If you change one, you have to change the other. Or sorry, one is in months, then this has to be in months. If this is in days, then you'll have to change this to days, but we're not worrying about that now. So on our calculator, $10,000, open bracket, 1 minus 20%, so that's 0.2, close our brackets, to the power of 3 years equals 5120. So what this is telling me, that at the end of 3 years, if my car depreciates at 20% per year, it will now only be worth $5,120. Wouldn't be very happy with that, but that's life. Okay, so that's compound interest.